Test, test, test. All right, we should be muted. Yeah,
Check,
we're muted.
check. Yep.
Welcome to Hamilton High School for today's home opener between the Broncos of Brophy College Prep and your Hamilton Huskies. Here are the starting lineups. First for the visiting Broncos. Number 0, J.P. Oden. Number 4, Eli Walker. Number 7, Eli Hagan. Number 10, Alec Rowland. Number 12, Alex King. Number 13, Parker Dixon. Number 14, Connor Byers. Number 17, Shuvan Kulkarni. Number 18, Joey Fritz. Number 19, Nico Magala. And number 20, Jared Garcia. And now the starters for your Hamilton Huskies. Number 1, Jackson LeBlanc. Number 2, Alex Quintanilla.
The handful of unique characteristics that Phoenix College had was absolute composure, absolute confidence, power, pace, and technical ability throughout. And I think that was such a unique set of players this year. Have you had many come from either Hamilton or Brophy? And I know your assistant coach is a Brophy player, former Brophy player.
Yeah, Anthony Hidalgo, former Bronco and former Bear, and then he went on to Gonzaga and just graduated, and now he's back with Brophy and Phoenix College, helping both programs, so he gives back quite a bit. But as far as Hamilton, we've had 2 recently. We had a couple brothers from Hamilton that helped us out quite a bit. But yeah, the shape of Brophy is very, very familiar to me. And
Their college athletics offering 2 years of community college or junior college that doesn't count towards the 4 years eligibility at the college level, the next college level. and their aspirations of. And here's an opportunity for Hamilton. That's number 10, Jajon Watson, and that's, you said, the Humboldt State player. But again, for each high school kid to have head college Division I coach to say, hey, who would I probably go recruit a 17, 18-year-old out of a solid high school, or do I go recruit a 21-year-old from Phoenix College?
Sure.
That dynamic, I think some students, some parents might have to come a little bit more to grips with what reality is.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think obviously in the state of Arizona, it's extremely less CU roster.
We've got another player down here. That's number 15 for Brophy. 19, I'm sorry, number 19. Sorry about that. Got to talk to Coach Markelli about getting those. That's a sophomore, Nico Magala. Again, Nico was a freshman on varsity last year, so he's bringing some experience. Now, Coach Kelly had some positive things to say about Nico. And again, just bright things for him as a sophomore here, sophomore campaign. That's some solid defending. That's that Jajon Watson. So now their opportunity here for Brophy. But again, as the half has progressed, you've definitely seen a little bit of Hamilton growing into what Brophy is trying to do defensively, not getting caught as much as in the first 10 minutes where 2 goals were scored. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Vance will do at halftime to adjust to this. You're down 2 goals. And if I were to ask you as a coach, you're Tim Vance, what are you looking to, maybe adjust or move into the second half?
I think it's a game that you really got to be careful of because they're tired. They played a lot of games recently. That sometimes you have to throw everything out and just restructure things into a place that you're not comfortable with, like a system you're not comfortable with. And if you're not going to rotate certain players because you need them in those positions, you have to restructure things into maybe let's just sit and counter and just deal with the situation you're dealing with, which they're tired.
Yeah.
They've played a lot of games, and the schedule is the schedule. Or you have to go deep on your bench and just kind of stick to the system you're playing, but then you might be in a situation you're not going to be able to compete.
Right. And I know Coach Mark Kelly and his staff talked about similar to what Phoenix College does is the wholesale substitutions, midway through the half, whether if it's 18, 20, 23 minutes into the first half, can we have 7 to 8 more bodies substituted onto the field? And now you're dealing with hungrier players. But that's difficult to do, especially at any level, to be able to have that communication with the players and the buy-in.
And you have to be able to recruit that kind of talent, and it's not easy to recruit in high school.
Right.
Is it even legal to do?
Yeah. Again, we got another breakout here off of the long throw-in from Jajon Watson. And I think, again, like you have a player like Deshaun Watson that just it does so much for Hamilton, from free kicks to throw-ins to getting back on defense for Coach Vance. That's a lot to ask for a player.
And the game is still manageable. Yeah. We always talk about the 2-0 lead being the most dangerous lead. And
there's a great opportunity right there. Boy, Deshaun served an excellent ball into the box, and I believe it looks like number 28 for Hamilton. Just couldn't wrap his foot around it. It was almost if 26, Caden Villarreal just couldn't get his foot around it. Ball was almost surprised, like, oh, it's coming to me.
And if I'm Hamilton, especially during the times of when Brophy's doing well, I would just use gamemanship to the next level. Like every free kick, just make it like a timeout and just get them out of their game.
And I'm sorry, I got an adjusted roster here. That's Gabe Noble, number 28. Your left back for the Huskies. Well, yeah, you make a great point, Coach. It's having that experience throughout years and years of that kind of wisdom, I would call it, to go, wait a second. We're two down. We got to make sure the gamesmanship is high. Again, we're going to build on every opportunity, but it's going to be thoughtful and it's going to be counterattacked. And great point.
But it's hard to do when you're in a situation of you have some players that are fit.
There's a great pass. Great save by Jackson LeBlanc with his leg there. Like a hockey save.
But when you have so many different dynamics, a bunch of players from different clubs, different expectations of how they want to play, you got some players that want to go fast, some players want to go slow, some want to build, some want to be direct. And that's a process of an entire season to get everyone willing to buy into whatever the messaging is from the coach.
And there's so many other dynamics as a high school coach that many people don't consider, of like how was that program successful? Why were they successful that year as opposed to not that other year? And again, it's managing, I would almost say, parental expectations, where parents are like, my kid needs to play. And I think one of the dynamics that I had to deal with, and a handful of times, is the angry parent that drives 40 minutes to watch their son play 6 minutes. And I don't even know why you're playing high school soccer.
Yeah.
So
it's been like that 30 plus years.
Yeah.
But I like how Hamilton, in their last sequence, building up to this throw-in, they connected 7 consecutive passes, slowed the game down to their liking, and got an opportunity to sub 4 guys on, get a good rotation. That's good management of the ball and of the game, and they'll build confidence from doing that.
We're just under 5 minutes here in the first half at Hamilton High School. 2-0, Brophy leading Hamilton. We had 2 quick goals in the first 11 minutes of the first half. And like Coach Cameron's been saying, Hamilton has slowly grown into the game. It's not been just one-sided.
Well, what you're seeing also is Hamilton's finding finding their soccer legs, we'll call them, because I think Hamilton going to California, playing tough competition, running straight into a Brophy who's obviously a problem for AIA and 6A soccer, winning I don't know how many state titles, but you want these games. You want these high-energy games because you'll adapt to it. It'll teach you how to play at a higher level and deal with these situations. So when you get into playoffs, you'll be ready for it. Yeah, it's getting a little chippy out there.
Yeah. Jackson LeBlanc didn't appreciate sophomore Nico having a little, how's your afternoon going? Nico Magala. No, we were just asked if he had stopped the clock. The clock continues to go while we're getting a dissertation of certain rules.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the center official should have just dealt with it and just give a card, deal with it now. I get you want to talk to the players, but anytime you engage in the goalkeeper like that, I think that was deserving of a card.
Yeah, punishable offense.
Or would it be a soft red?
Oh, watch it. No, we need 2 of those.
So why do you call your podcast soft red?
Well, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. And it's ironic that Coach Kelly, Mark Kelly, is on the other sideline, on the far sideline. During quarantine, Mark and I have been close associates for a long time. Me being at Corona, Mark being at Brophy in his first stint. And once we had gotten to kind of know each other as people, we're both kind of color as I don't sound colorful here on the podcast or on the stream. I'm a pretty colorful speaker outside of this position, and both of us are spirited coaches on the sideline. We're both intense. We both really get after the players, the referees, let's just say the space. And I always laughed, and I said we should start a podcast. And it hit me that I would be one yellow card waiting to happen, and he would be the second yellow card waiting to happen. And I just said that's the Soft Red Podcast. And so the name came about early over during quarantine. And I'd laughed and joked about it, and every time I said the name, everybody would say that's kind of funny. And so I got to credit you, Coach Cameron, because you've had your own podcast for quite a long time, and you really encouraged me to say, "Yeah, go do it, man. Just talk and say what you need to say," and it's allowed me to have this platform, let's say, to enjoy this.
Yeah, I even went to your house to convince you to just do it.
No, and this is something, again, like I said, during quarantine, I was still coaching at Corona. I talked about it, and I thought there needed to be a voice at the high school level, whether if it was to question the status quo of the AIA, or if it was, again, to provide a voice for the coaches that work so damn hard in season, out of season, but just to have that dialogue of perspective. Hey, that's going to do it for our first half here at Hamilton High School. That is Brophy up 2-0. We're going to step aside for about 10 minutes. Let Coach Cameron give you guys some content over the web, and we'll be back.
Right.
That's pretty funny. We have ball boys come to games and, for different youth club teams. And I've had some success just, having youth teams come and kids that are out of boundaries going, this is where I want to go to high school and play soccer.
Right.
Just from walking on campus, seeing kind of knowing it's a good academic institution, it holds up, and then to have the grass, again, when you walk up, it looks great.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But so, question I have for you, so at Corona del Sol, my friend Sasha Hunter won a state title there.
Yeah.
When we should have won it at Shadow Mountain High School. I played Shadow, and Sasha Hunter and Corona del Sol won it. I was so upset because back then it was like Dobson was unbelievable. Corona del Sol, from the same region, they had 4. Back then it was Corona del Sol, Dobson High School. I think, four of the schools from that region were all in the top 10.
Yeah. And
Shadow Mountain, we were number 1. And of course, we lose to Dobson, like the 3rd ranked team of the region.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then Corona wins it. So, it's a powerful area of soccer, that neck of the woods. So AIA.
Yeah.
And we don't have to talk about too much of this. I think are you contracted by AIA now?
No.
How'd you get that gig, by the way?
It was wild. I received Chris Harris is his name, who was the the lead guy in the broadcast, emailed me and said that a coach he had been speaking with said that you should contact Dan Salas over at Corona. Maybe he'd want to help you do this. And it was just like, I loved it. And as soon as I got his email, I'm like, a done deal. But at the time of the email, I just, there'd been some conflict going on coaching wise at Corona. And then soon, after I resigned, I just called Chris and I said, I'm in, because I knew obviously if I'm not coaching, I'm going to be available for the playoff games. So,
right. So the question I have for you, Dan, is how much can we rip on AIA where it doesn't affect your broadcasting abilities?
I don't think if we talk about ripping on them,
well, just let me rip on them.
Yeah. I think there's enough room for improvement, definitely, for a lot of things that just as an organization, and I know it's hard for, maybe the powers that be to kind of see it that way, but it just like everything else changes and adapts and evolves. I think maybe some of the same thought process can happen with the AIA.
So I don't want to sidetrack this podcast because I've covered this in depth. But I want to ask you another question. Far as rivalries, who is Corona del Sol's rivalry, and how important is that to your program?
Very. I would say there are. Desert Vista would probably be the first one. Obviously, it's in the same district. I would say Desert Vista, and again, like I think I would put Brophy there because I've always enjoyed competing against Brophy. I've always enjoyed, when it was started with Mark Kelly and then it went to, I forgot the gentleman's name. He had moved right after Mark, and then it became Paul Allen, and then it was
Mark Kelly's back.
What a dude. What a guy, man. But as far as rivalries, and I like what you asked about what does it do for, the high school game. I think it's huge because and maybe it's changed a little bit, and maybe you've noticed this, is that kids are not as ferocious with each other as they used to be. When maybe when we grew up, and I could even say when I first started at Corona in 2004, 5, 6, there was real hatred for Desert Vista, Mountain Point, Hamilton. You went into games and they just didn't like. You knew it was going to be a great game, competitive, but it was a real like, I don't like them. And then it kind of turned where now kids play club soccer and they're always with each other on their teams. And where it once was that, I know him, he might be on my club team, but he plays for said school. I don't like him. And
right.
I think now it's gotten kind of, I hate to use the term soft, but it's gotten different where like, that's my boy, and they want to talk to each other before the games. And like, like that edge, I think is lost a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. The other thing is, because everything's documented, everything's on video or something, so you'll get caught too. So
Yeah.
keep the peace, I guess, or you'll get canceled.
Right.
But man, if there was video of what I did as a player in rivalry games or whatever, yeah, I'd be in big trouble. But we won't talk about that. But rivalries are very important. At Millennium, our rival, in my opinion, is everybody. But in our region, because we've won it, our region's it's not as strong as East Valley. East Valley's a different animal, but we've never lost a game in region in 7 years.
Wow.
But it's not of the level of East Valley. But we close matches though.
Yeah.
But we always find a way to win because whatever. But our rival is Verado, pretty much, and now it's kind of turned into Canyon View now. But it brings a lot of people to the game.
Yes.
Like we get crowds that you will not get in club, and I think that's different, a different kind of pressure too. So, do you think club? For me, club doesn't offer. It might offer high level play in some circumstances, but not the pressure.
No,
not with crowd, not that environment at all.
No, you're absolutely right. You nailed it. Like, I think I've had multiple players, and even including Ryan Flood, but multiple players who either didn't play when they started high school soccer, or they started playing high school soccer as freshman, sophomore, and then, their parents stepped in and thought it'd be a better idea for them to just play club only. And I think just the excitement, that they say this doesn't compare. I don't think, again, like a Friday night home game against Desert Vista, senior night, Desert Vistas, a Friday night against Brophy, and you're fighting for the region title. That's the pressure you're talking about. And I think, when you talk to college coaches, and at least the ones I've had the conversations with, they want to have a kid that plays as hard on Tuesday night against the worst team in the region as hard as he does Friday night against the best team in the region when everything's on the line. And I don't necessarily see club soccer is so watered down with game after game after game after game, and tournament here, tournament there. Like, what game actually matters now?
Yeah.
When does it matter? Or because if I've got a game, if I play on Saturday and, I've got a tournament, we play 2 games on Saturday, which is the first problem. And then you got another 2 games on Sunday, and the second game on Sunday is like the third place match. And you got to go all the way back to, drive 40 more minutes to play a match. The kids are like, I don't even know why we're playing.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Speaking of rivalry, and it is a different environment. You're in a stadium. You have basically you'll have one side that's not rooting for you, and they're loud, and then you have your home fans who are depending on you to have success to represent the jersey you wear, because you represent a whole school, which is a lot different. Because clubs is not, I represent this club. They don't play for everything for that club. So how do you prepare your team for important games such as a rivalry or a playoff? What would be the way you would, and stating, I know that I do know that I don't know that I do know that I don't know. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll unmute you.
Okay. I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hamilton High School, to the inaugural Soft Red Podcast live stream. My name is Dan Salas, and I am joined today with the national championship coach, David Cameron from Phoenix College, Hamilton High School, which was a 12:30 p.m. kickoff against Brophy. We are at 2-0. Brophy had 2 goals scored in the first 11 minutes of the first half. And Coach Cameron, talk a little bit about what Brophy did, what Hamilton did positive in the first half.
Well, Brophy got out of the gates quickly, and they were going to take charge right away, maybe taking advantage of the amount of games Hamilton has had. I liked how Hamilton settled in and found themselves about the final 20 minutes of the first half. I thought they were adapting to the pace that Brophy was bringing, and Brophy was just making great runs in the final third and great time passes from their midfield, finding those seams that their forwards could find that space, and Nico came up big with 2 goals for Brophy.
And Coach Vance, I think, can build definitely on that last 20 minutes. Again, they had some solid opportunities, and I think the high school game is one of those where my top 1 or 2 players impact the game a little bit more. And for Hamilton, Dejan Watson, Jacob Drack, Alex Quintanilla, I think those are the players that need to step up in this second half. Again, along with Captain Julian Barry, to do a little bit more in this second half. This next 40 minutes, let's make an impact. I think one of the, we talk about the 3 5s in a game, the 5 minutes that start the game, 5 minutes into the second half, and 5 minutes after a goal. I think the first, I would say 8 minutes of the second half is going to be very important for Hamilton. Can they strike a goal? Can they get it to, turn it to 2-1? And then put the pressure on Brophy to say, hey, we're going to come at you.
And we'll learn a lot in these, I think, the first 15 minutes about how this game really is going to finish. And I'm curious to see what game plan each team has put in.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the, if I could say, the dorkiness about me. Those are some of the things I really get into, is like those adjustments that coaches make, those details they pay attention to. And again, the Hamilton, the unique 12:30 start has allowed the Hamilton student body to come out to the games. The Hamilton High School has agreed, if the teachers agree, during 5th, 6th periods, to take attendance and say, hey, let's head out and watch a soccer game. Not quite sure if every student here is in as a social experience. Hey, meet me out at the soccer game. Let's get on our phones. Oh, man. Yeah, anything other than class.
Brophy's definitely proving the value of a goalkeeper that's good with their feet, and which it gives your team the ability to get better numbers.
Absolutely.
On your build.
Yes. Because if that goalkeeper comes out and they're out far enough, it definitely gives you that +1 in the midfield. And I know your goalkeeper, Jan Villegas, I mean, I said it throughout the broadcast over your games, was that kid's good enough to play forward. I mean, his feet are, and he's so confident on the ball. I think that was, It's one thing to be, have the ability, but then to have the confidence to like, no, I'm good. I know exactly what I need to wait for. I know the timing of the ball, whatever it needs to happen. So again, J.P. Oden is a 4-year varsity player. He was actually the MVP of the Independence tournament that Brophy won recently. Oh, he did touch it. Here's an opportunity here for Brophy. I think that's number 17, Shoban Kulkarni, the shot on goal. I think he needed to make one more pass with that quickly, and that would have been a tap-in on the right side.
Yeah, actually had two options.
Two options.
To the right of him. But it's hard to do that when you have the whole goal right in front of you. And,
eyes get real big.
Well, nines tend to it's their job to score, so they kind of put that mantle on their back and try to take care of business on themselves, but that's their job.
Again, and you'll see J.P. Oden, how high of a line he keeps. I mean, right now if you could see him in the shot, he's standing at the 20-yard line. And if Hamilton gets a break here, and you see almost Jacob Drack, number 12 for the Huskies, if he gets free there, that's a driven ball over JP's head. But in terms of JP, again, what I wanted to make another point of is he has not allowed a goal all season. So Brophy has not allowed a goal, but here's an opportunity off a slip. Here's Jacob Drack. Oh, with a little bit of a heavy touch. Maybe thought he had a little bit more time than he did.
But even in that last attack of Hamilton, Brophy was still able to drop their numbers back. The goalkeeper had plenty of time to get back.
Yep.
It's a very intelligent thing to do. If your goalkeeper has feet, use them.
Use them. The other thing, and maybe you'll see more and more teams implore this, but all off of his head. 10, 15 years ago, that just seemed to be the standard in high school soccer. And if you had the patience and the ability to teach players, again, like you had previously said, that come from different backgrounds and philosophies from their club coaches or whatever their upbringing may have been, but the ability to say, hey, let's put the ball on the ground, let's develop an attack from the back through the midfield, not just skipping the midfield completely and just play over the top. I think you see a lot more success from teams throughout the years that develop that type of playing philosophy or tactical ability.
Well, I think it's necessary.
It's necessary.
You have to know how to play not only the long game, you have to be able to play the short game and then put players in position that they can make those decisions based on the situations they see. You can win games ugly, you can win them pretty, but you need to be able to do both.
Right. There was Hamilton with an opportunity there, and that was Alex Quintanilla trying to get the ball around that defender and just couldn't shape his hips right. And again, to your point, Coach, I think you're absolutely right when you say it's necessary. And I'll say one of the dynamics that's difficult coaching at the high school level is the amount of time spent in game preparation and that management to force the players to do that. Because, I mean, for all intent and purposes, the club kids come to you during their kind of the tail end of their fall season, if you will, and you've got about 4 weeks until your first game starts. And I know at Corona, I would run a 2-day-a-week preseason. I would try to get as many players as I could that, I felt, hey, you're going to contribute this year to the varsity team. Here's an opportunity for Brophy again. Good save by Jackson LeBlanc. Boy, he coughs that up. There were 2 Brophy forwards ready to pounce. But again, the ability to say, hey, this is the system that we're going to play, or these are the principles. That's a great ball in behind.
Oh.
Referee.
That could
easily have been a red card.
Yeah, if he didn't have his cohort next to him with at least one step beyond him,
yeah,
he only gets a yellow. But if his gone.
Dead to rights, yeah. He's gone. What a great pass. And it was feathered with the outside of the foot from the left winger.
But I like how Hamilton is adapted to the game that's been presented. They went into this game and it was just like it was all Brophy, but they settled in and started figuring things out and developed their own rhythm. And what a great counter, starting with LeBlanc's save to the counter, because Brophy committed a lot of numbers, didn't get away with the goal. They almost did, but got caught on the counter. They went right back down, and the incredible pass that put them in a position that they could at least drew a red or scored a goal.
Yeah. And standing over the ball right now, you've got Jacob Drack and captain Dejan Watson just over.
But this game almost changed completely.
Yes.
And it's just those moments that you need to just take advantage of. And technically, what a great foul.
Yeah.
It was a great foul.
Yeah.
If you only got a yellow for that? Great foul.
You're still in the game, and your team's still up 2-0. Great foul. Professional foul. That's number 12, Brophy, Alex King, center back.
Now, Brophy needs to get back into what got them the original success, which was a lot of building, moving numbers around. But now they're in a situation of they're going forward much too quick and not moving numbers where they would have an advantage. And every time they've done that, they've had a lot of success, whether they kept the ball 4, 5, 6 passes in the back and then served.
Yep.
But they're being forced to serve earlier, and that's a credit to Hamilton applying the correct pressure to force them to go away from what they're good at.
There's a shot on goal, number 14, Connor Byers. A bounce for a Hamilton throw.
And it seems like Hamilton in every duel for
Yes.
the ball, they're putting a little more extra into it just to let Brophy know we're not going anywhere, and you're going to earn everything you get from here on out.
Yeah, and that last opportunity there, Brandon Portillo dribbling the ball, senior dribbling the ball through the back line, almost got a breakthrough in terms of just one more extra pass would have been an opportunity for Hamilton.
And this is smart by Brophy. If they're going to chase, make them chase.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, he should have. Oh, man. And again, that was number 2, Alex Quintanilla. There's a shot on goal. JP. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, that's
Sequence.
what Hamilton needs to do. If put him in bad situations like that. But Brophy, I wouldn't go away from it. You have to stick to what you're trying to build, because eventually in the bigger games, that as far as a playoff match between these same two teams, you need to have that kind of confidence. And you're going to make mistakes like that when you try to build, because you have to make mistakes in order to elevate what you're trying to do.
And I had a number of really good conversations with Phoenix College players throughout your season, whether they were up in the booth helping me or whatever it may have been, but or before the games. And the one thing that they continue to, say is, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like you have to be confident that what you're doing is going to work. And again, what you're saying is like just because it doesn't feel comfortable right now doesn't mean it's not the right decision.
And I think it has a lot to do with your staff that you choose to really stick with you with those decisions you make, and obviously your teammates. But I remember when we went to nationals, we're talking about the full line changes and stuff, and we're like, we're going to stick with it regardless, and believe in how we got there, and
right,
not change anything. I think when you make major changes over a mistake or something didn't work out, you lose all structure. You lose all sense of, confidence.
That foundation, it cracks. But it doesn't mean burn the house down.
Correct.
And I think the game will get really interesting here if Hamilton can sneak a goal in the next few minutes. I mean, we're 26 minutes. We got 26 minutes left in the second half. Brophy's up 2-0, and maybe 2 or 3 opportunities going forward Brophy's had in the second half. But Hamilton has caused Brophy to make a few bad decisions with the ball. It caused some mistakes. And if not that professional foul, that and that possible, red card, but just got a yellow card out of it. I mean, we're looking at a closer game than what it is right on the scoreboard right now.
Hamilton is certainly the better of the two teams in this half. They've had more opportunities. They put Brophy in difficult situations where they would have to use a little bit gamemanship to survive. But it's the run of play is Hamilton in the second half, and obviously Brophy had the run of play in the first half. The difference is who can finish.
Yes.
And that's why they make the most money.
Got a substitution into the match for the Huskies, number 24, Gio Flores.
And that sequence right there, Hamilton is looking a lot better, a lot more confidence. And I'm curious of what the halftime speech was. What was the new tactics? What was the new positioning as far as where players were going to move? Great job by the Hamilton coach to be able to recognize where they were struggling and move them on into a situation that they were being competitive, and in this case, more competitive than the opposition.
And again, you're seeing, to Hamilton's credit, you're seeing them get into spaces that they weren't getting into the first half. Yeah. And here's Hamilton's first corner kick of the match.
And we talk about this all the time. The difference between a great player and an average player is consistency.
Yep.
And if you can be the greatest player for a moment, but if you can't maintain a certain level for an entire match or
Yeah.
couple of matches, that's the difference. It's consistency.
Mm.
I just talked to the new head coach of Utah Valley,
Okay.
and he said the exact same thing. They can go watch all these games and see a brilliant performance, but how do they do over 2 games, 3 games, a season? Like, consistency is everything. I love giving the analogy of Tiger Woods. I have a friend who is a professional golfer. He beat Tiger Woods in a round. And I'm like, well, why aren't you at his level? He goes, no one can beat him over five days.
Right.
You can beat him in 1 day in match play, but 5 days he's different because his consistency was so high.
That's a great point. And I think, when you're talking about a high school aged player, it could be so frustrating sometimes here's an opportunity for Brophy. Can he make something out of this? Absolutely. And again, that's their leading scorer, Jackson.
And that's unfortunate because Hamilton was playing so well.
Yep. It's one mistake, but again, that's at number of times at the high school level. That's what good programs have. They have 1 or 2 players. If you're going to make that mistake, I've got a player that's going to again send this to 3-0.
Yeah, it happens all the time, and Hamilton's, down by 2, so they're committing a lot of numbers forward, so they're taking some risk, allowing Brophy to have those counters.
Brophy goal, number 16, Jackson to Houston.
There's sophomore, number 19, Nico Magala. But to go back right before the goal, what I was saying is you talked about consistency, and it seems so hard, for a great high school player versus a good high school player. And a handful of, college coaches that I spoke to, throughout the years would say 2 questions they would ask me. Number 1, how's he practice? What type of practice player is he? Number 2, how does he play Tuesday night against the worst team in the conference as opposed to Friday night, the best team in the conference? Am I going to get the same player? Am I going to get that same, again, to what you're saying about Tiger Woods? It doesn't matter if it's 6 a.m. playing against Tiger Woods or 6 p.m. You're just going to get a monster.
And coaches, recruiting, in my situation, I want to see how they respond. Like if you're down 3-0 and Hamilton is right now, that shouldn't change how you play. As far as the individual.
Right.
You're still making those passes. You're still making those runs. You're staying consistent in your needs to develop as a player. And consistency, as far as learning how to be consistent, it's a mindset of being present at all times. And that's not an easy thing to do when you're constantly thinking, oh, we're down by this many. It's not going well. There's a big crowd watching. You have to eliminate all that noise so you can be the best version of yourself and build the consistency needed for the next level. And I think it's something that not talked. So that's a good look.
Yeah,
That was a great decision.
Yeah, and that's number 25, Portillo, Brandon Portillo.
But we need to be talking about that a lot as coaches, as parents. Develop consistency so you can have that kind of success you're needing. It's not everyone's so focused on personal moments. Well, I scored 5 goals this game or whatever. Like
Right.
even these moments, how are you reacting? If you're trying to get under the skin of do that, but don't let emotion affect you. Let their emotions get rattled. Everything has to be thought out. Every little detail.
And I think this is a good talked about. Hey, if these are two top programs, you may see each other again in a quarterfinal, semifinal, even state championship. And again, what can you take even down 3-0 to build on or to remember or again train so that when we get to this point again, we know again what we can put out.
Experience matters, and
Yes.
and as a coach, if you're not in difficult situations like this one, playing a lot of games, coming into a tough match, large crowd, you'll never know. There's so many teachable opportunities here to be able to elevate players individually and as an entire team.
Yeah, I like that term what you use, just elevate. Because it's difficult right now. They're down 3-0.
But if anything, Hamilton's building a ton of confidence as far as their ability to develop their own attack. Great tackle.
Yeah, it is.
By 26.
That's 26. My goodness, kid. That is Caden Villarreal. Great tackle. We've got some bunch of substitutions into the match for both teams, but I can clearly see Hamilton coming in. We got number 6, Cameron Upchurch, number 8, Brandon Ricks, number 10, Dejon Watson, and number 17, Gio Salcedo checking back into the match. And it looked like about 6 players for Brophy just came subbed off. And again, that's Coach Mark Kelly's wholesale substitution tactic. We're at just under 17 minutes at 16:45 left in regulation. The second half of Hamilton versus Brophy. Right now, Brophy's up 3-0.
And again, Brophy's shown the value of having numbers up in their back with the introduction of their goalkeeper, which allowed them to get to one side to the other and up into Hamilton's defensive third.
Yeah, that +1 is either going to be on your right or your left. When you have, if someone's going to chase the goalie, someone has to leave their space.
It's so valuable. I remember when we were actively doing it a couple years ago, and we're at Glendale Community College, and our goalkeeper gave up the ball, and it was a tap in from 30, down 1-0. But we didn't change a thing. Ultimately, we got the victory, but the value of numbers around the ball is so huge.
Right.
You do run that risk of no goalkeeper in the net.
Yeah. And just recently checked in for the match for the Hamilton Huskies, number 14, Micah Johnson. He's currently on the ball now. And that's Caden Villarreal continuing the press for the Huskies. Here's an opportunity. Oh.
And if I'm Brophy, you know you're probably going to face Hamilton again, if not a couple more times. As a competitor, I don't want Hamilton to have anything. I don't want them to have hope for the next game. So, yeah, you may think you got this victory now, but you want to win the second game right now. You don't want them to think they have a chance. And Hamilton's already proved if they play it again, starting from 0-0 in a different setting, I wouldn't bet all my chips on one team or the other. I wouldn't know. Like
Right.
Hamilton's shown enough. Like, oh, they could easily made this a little bit different on finishing that breakaway, starting the game a little differently. That's why I always talk about let's win the second game too. Give
Here's
them
a
nothing,
bad,
and here
bad
we go.
giveaway. Another great save.
Again,
J.P. Oden.
again, to the point of Hamilton's very dangerous, and just a couple little tweaks within the roster and their style of play that I know their coach will make. It's anyone's game.
Yep. Especially at the start, knowing what you're kind of moving into, not seeing them coming off the tournament. And here's Deshaun Watson again with these long throws. They're difficult. And you're seeing right now, you're seeing a number of Premier League teams implore them, whether it be Arsenal, who are the set play kings of the Premier League right now, to Sunderland has another player that can really chuck a ball. I believe Crystal Palace has a player that throws the ball deep into the penalty box, into the 6.
It's definitely dangerous. And I'm not a fan of it,
Yeah.
but only because I've had to deal with it.
And
but
checking, go ahead.
It's a problem. Like it changes the game. It kills the clock. You can use it the entire match and change the entire game.
Yes.
And wipe off 20 minutes of the game.
Yes, from tempo, flow, rhythm. I totally agree. Checking into the match for the Huskies is Benji Mascarenas. That's a great throw right there. And it just creates sloppiness. It creates confusion. It creates chance that you can't necessarily control as a coach, as a team.
Yeah, because the rhythm's gone. And teams that try to possess, especially from the back, you need rhythm, and this kills rhythm. I don't even know if those throw-ins are even legal.
Goal.
You got him.
Yep. That's number 5. That's number 5. Julian Berry. Five. And I believe I had said at the start of the second half, you know, I was just looking down at the Hamilton players, and for whatever reason, my eyes picked up talking to his teammates, and out of the players, I said, hey, these are some of the guys that are going to have to step up in the second half and be the leadership, to be the presence that the team needs. And Julian Berry was one of them.
And I believe, is that Brophy's first goal allowed
Correct.
this season?
Yeah, conceded.
And that gives Hamilton life, not only in the remaining of this match, but the next time they play.
Yep. Game now.
I know the coaches are thinking of that, but the players, they don't understand until they have the experience of, you know, having a big victory and turning around and losing to that same team.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
And Brophy comes into the match today undefeated. Here's another opportunity for Hamilton. Can he get past? Oh, man. J.P. Oden. You know, he's not an imposing figure, but he has good technique. He's got confidence.
And if I'm Hamilton, I'm going to continue to attack that side until it fails them, but they're doing quite well attacking their left-hand side.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and again, it's definitely one of those games. As a head coach, you're going to look back on either side and say, "Hey, these are some positive that we can build on, and these are some adjustments we definitely need to make in each space, whether it be defending, transition, attack, players, patterns. There's that side.
But Hamilton is continually getting better. They're looking like they have a ton of confidence. They're having great build up. It's thought out, and
it's pressure.
It's creating something that a coach will enjoy. You want to finish the game the right way, regardless of the score, so it builds off to the next game.
And I've always said this, that you don't win a state championship in December, but you better learn how to win in December. And just the momentum that Hamilton has built into this second half, they may not get like the perfect opportunity, the perfect through ball, the perfect pass, but you having a one-on-one opportunity there inside the box. And even though that player wasn't facing his defender, I would have liked him to stay inside that box and make that defender defend me, whether it be dribbling the ball, side, whatever it may have been. I'd like to tell that forward next time, don't dribble outside the box. Stay in the box right there. And you might get tripped. That defender gets a little too aggressive, and you create the opportunity out of nothing.
If you can see the box. I find it, this turf, this turf field was definitely inspired by football.
Correct.
And I get it, because I would do the same thing if I was having to deal with football.
Why aren't the lines yellow?
Because the football coaches do not want to see soccer lines on their field.
No.
Don't blame them. I don't want to see football lines on my field. And it's definitely hard to see.
Yes. And again, for the viewers, there's an opportunity on goal. And again, I had this called probably 3 to 4 times in 2 years at Corona, where it's so hard to see the top of the box and the 10-yard line on the football field. So as a goalkeeper, you may have the ball and you're just going to go punt it, and you'll take a couple extra steps because you're like, oh, it's that white line right there. And I've had referees call it and not call it for and against me, where I'm going, wait a second, that guy's outside the box. And because the referee's already looking past, he didn't call it.
Where we would be in trouble is if they had lacrosse lines too.
Well, that's at Desert Vista High School.
That's where there's a lot of confusion on, are you in or are you out? See how he just throws it and just runs. I don't. What's the throw-in rule? How long do you have to keep your feet down?
We're going to have to contact AYSO on that. Get the official.
I have no idea.
I have no idea on that either.
You see how he throws it? He just runs.
Just keep going.
He just keeps running.
But both feet were on the ground when he let go.
I think so. You would need VAR on that, slow-mo.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember when Corona was in the first planned discussions of the turf field that they now have, and there's an opportunity here. But when that was in the in the initial discussions, and this probably was Oh, boy, this would have been like 2020, 21. And the original renderings, I believe, at Corona had yellow lines for soccer because the school colors are orange and yellow. And I was pleasantly surprised when all of a sudden the turf went down and it was gray.
Oh, wow.
Again, it would have made perfect sense. I mean, if you look at, Corona's field and Corona's, outline of their emblem, there's yellow in it. So it would not have clashed at all. We are just under 4 minutes left in regulation. 3 minutes, 53 seconds. Brophy Broncos still undefeated this season, up 3-0 over the host team. 3-1, sorry. Over the host team, Hamilton. Again, I want to say thank you to the Hamilton administration, athletic director Brett Palmer and Coach Tim Vance for allowing myself and Coach Cameron the day to come up here and call the game, enjoy this time together. I've had an opportunity here to speak with, we had David Belfort join us in the booth shortly. And if you are listening, I hope, hopefully Coach Cameron and I will be visiting other campuses. Actually, this Wednesday, we will be at Mesa High School with Mesa hosting Pinnacle and Justin Hughes. So we got TJ Hagan hosting us on Wednesday, Coach. That should be a good game. Those are, again, two other great pass. Can he get through? What's his opportunity? And it just, oh. So on Wednesday, we will be at Mesa with TJ Hagan and that fine program that TJ runs. I know you have a number of Mesa players on your team now, Coach, and it was Freddie and there's one more.
Easton,
that's the name.
Elzinga, who
Yes.
just got married over the weekend.
What? How old is he? 17?
No, he's. I think he's 21 because he served a mission.
Okay.
So you get married in his second year with us. So
Okay.
serving a mission. I think they leave at 18, 20. Say he's 21. I think maybe 22.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought Easton was fresh out of high school. He's
No.
getting married. Well, congratulations, Easton. We are just at about a minute left here.
We got to apologize for the stream. Second half went a lot better than the first half. We only have Wi-Fi today, and with all the students in the stands and them using the same Wi-Fi, it made it difficult. But we're hoping to be on a cable line on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
I'll make sure we
make
talk
sure.
to Coach Hagan and get that sorted out. But this is Brophy's corner kick here, and it looks like they are just going to see the game off here in the final moments. Coach, last thoughts here? We got just under 20 seconds.
Great game on both sides. Brophy took care of their opportunity to put away the goals that needed to be, and it was a good good run on both sides, and I like how Brophy didn't like try to score another one in that situation, knowing they're gonna play again.
Yeah. So again, that'll do it here from Hamilton High School. Thank you for joining us here. There it is. Thank you for joining us here on the Soft Red Podcast. Big thank you again to the guy on my side here, Coach Cameron, for allowing this to all happen, his little production. And again, Hamilton High School, Coach Tim Vance, congratulations to Mark Kelly. Well done today. And again, we'll be at Mesa High School on Wednesday with Coach TJ Hagan and Justin Hughes from Pinnacle High School. Thank you again, everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you. See ya.